All right, welcome to the franchise time machine. Continuing my journey back from the disabled list. Day two, back from, well, not back from, still working on a few last kidney stones, it feels like, but not so bad that I can't, I don't think I can, um, not so bad that I can't battle through them, I think. But we'll see how it goes. I do want to get the giveaway form done first so that in case I do have to pack it in early, at least I can maybe finish the sim offline and give people their packs. So I'm just updating the form. We're doing the reverse of what we did last night. So last night for each team, we boosted one attribute up to 550. This time we're going to take one down to 50. So tonight's experiment will be so last night was a reboot, right, of one we'd done before. Um, one pitching attribute. Hey Dub, what's up? Ezra's running a little late, so I decided to go ahead and start somewhat close to the normal starting time in case people were looking for the stream. And then hopefully Ezra will raid into us when he's done. He's uh he's in his usual 1960 giant save. Again, instead of team standings, we'll look at team whip, strikeouts per nine, and ERA. So this time it's going to be stuffed down to 50. And yeah, Smiley Face Jane, welcome back. Stuff was the best, and surprisingly, at least a surprise to me, um, Stuff not only increased strikeouts per nine, but also reduced WHIP and ERA. I think BABIP will take down to 25. Everything else is coming down to 50. The reason is, for some reason, PBABIP is still on a 250 scale instead of a 550 scale. Let's call it 20. It should actually be 22-ish, but 22 and a half maybe, but we'll call it 22. I don't know yet how we're going to reduce stuff, so this will just be left blank. Just okay. So this is kind of the gimme still. It'll be which team will have the lowest strikeouts per nine. Yes, Max, thank you. I will try to remember to open the form. Yeah, pinned. He's an aggressive mod. The funny thing is, the reason I made him a mod is because for the longest time I had issues with Twitch not recognizing me as being online, even though I could stream and it would capture the stream in a VOD. I could do everything except anytime I tried to do something like um, claim drops or raid, it wouldn't work. It would just act like I wasn't online. So I made him a mod so he could raid into himself. Oh, did we get another sub? Unbelievable, y'all. Max, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, I haven't had that Twitch glitch in a while, but I probably shouldn't even mention it in case I jinx myself. But yeah, so I I couldn't raid into Max, and I was like, oh, maybe a quick way to solve that would be if I just let him raid into himself. So that's how Max became a mod. All right, so again, this is the gimme, right? Which team will have the lowest strikeouts per nine? This I think will be more interest. Which will have um the highest whip? Yeah, now I regret my rendition. Which team will have the highest whip? In other words, which attribute, when it's terrible, has the biggest impact? And then which one will lead to the highest ERA? Tomato, I don't understand your Ohio out of context. What are we talking about here? So I'm wondering, hey Dub, of course I'm gonna use a pivot table. Old habits die hard. We'll still do the Cy Young Award winner though. This is the opposite, right? Which oh, Ohio. Tomato, that is awesome. I guess for some people it is Ohio time. It is good morning time. So the wording on this question might be, just to clarify, if the NL and AL Cy Young Award winners are from different teams, this question will be moot. You should still answer it, right? Because we don't know if that's going to happen. But it won't be used as a tiebreaker if they're different teams. It's also a little bit of a switch because for these first three questions, we're asking which attribute, when it's low, generates the worst performance, right? This was now asking which attribute, when it's low, still lets their pitchers be the best in the league by winning the Cy Young. Um, I think we'll still keep these the best because there is no easy table to see the worst. So just in the interest of simplicity, um, Ezra Denny, thank you so much for the raid. I have to say, Ezra, even though you had a brief seventh inning stretch today, that was one of the more fascinating ones I've seen. That was some wild vintage footage. Ezra subscribing 3 months in a row. Thank you, Ezra. Oh, that's right. Two is that two in a row now? Two blown saves in a row now for the 1960 Giants. So for Ezra and the Raiders, what we're testing out tonight is the reverse of what we did last night. Tonight we're seeing in the completely average league, for each team, they'll get all the pitchers will have one attribute taken down to pretty much like high school pitcher level, right? 50 on the 550 scale. And which of those is going to result in the biggest degradation of performance? Is it having garbage stuff, garbage movement, which translates into home runs allowed, garbage PBAB, or garbage control? Last night we tested which one of these, when turned into 550, which is beyond, like at the end of the scale, high end of the scale, which one helps the most. This now we're testing the opposite. Which one hurts the most when it's removed? And we're completing the form for the pack giveaway. Actually, let me go ahead and I think this is ready to go now. So let me go ahead, as I always do, turn the form on. So it's now it's accepting responses, everybody. And I'll talk a little bit about our results from yesterday, so that as you're filling out the forms, maybe it'll help you. Link to form for tonight's, and this is for 10 packs, by the way. Tonight's 10 pack giveaway. Ezra, I hope you'll fill one out before you take off. You can still win even if you're not here. I'd love to give you some prize packs someday. All right, here we go. The form is pinned. Now, I don't think I did remember, Max, because you mocked me about it just 5 minutes ago. Okay, so here's what we did yesterday. We did almost a reverse experiment. We took one trait per team and took it to 550, which is maximum. And let me dig up I can show you all the results. Now, I feel okay showing you these results because there's nothing that says these results will be symmetrical, right? Just because one thing. Oh, Ezra, you're staying up late tonight. That's awesome. It is Friday night. That is true. Wild and crazy Friday nights, nerding out over fake baseball online. Let me find last night's data. There we go. Found it. Let me share it. All right. So, really, you probably want to look down here at this table. So, strikeouts per nine. Oh yeah, A-Dub did win last night. Strikeouts per nine. Predictably, Stuff had twice as many strikeouts per nine as all the other attributes. Well, let me take a step back in case anyone here is new to these experiments. We conduct these experiments in what we call the completely average league. This is a league that has 8 teams split up into the AL and the NL, the neutral league and the average league. And so each of those has 4 teams in it. And there's no interleague play, so we basically get 2 experiments in one. So if there's 4 teams, you have the same 4 teams in the AL as you do in the NL. And it just gives us an extra data point. All the players in the league are completely average, as close to major league average as we can get in terms of their their performance ratings, batting ratings, pitching ratings, even height, weight. Uh, Smiley face Jane. Uh, it says AW's win has an asterisk because Smiley face Jane was not here to contest it, which is actually kind of a fair statement. um, but shots fired, AW. Um, everyone also this is important for pitching. Everyone in the league, all the pitchers are right-handed, all the batters are right-handed, so there's no left-right advantage to be had. Um, every team has 6 starters, but runs a 5-man rotation. So the AI usually takes that 6 starter and puts them in the bullpen as the closer because they get the stuff boost. Which, by the way, the stuff boost we also proved with experiments in our stream previously does exist. And yeah, what else is there to say? And then, so the reason everything's standardized and average is so that when we do change something, that's the only thing that's different. And so we're trying to isolate the effects of the one thing we're changing. So last night we boosted one attribute to essentially like perfect level, 550. And to give you a sense of how high 550 is, if you think about 2001 Barry Bonds, who had 73 home runs and like a million walks, that Barry Bonds had 530 power and 520 I. So 2001 Barry Bonds wasn't even 550. It gives you an idea of how insane 550 is. So here, all the control pitcher on the control team, all the pitchers had 550 control. I think in the course of the season, each of those teams surrendered like 40 walks all season long. The movement team had their raw movement 550. Now, raw movement translates to home runs allowed, but there's no home. You can't set the home run allowed rating in the base game. You can set the raw movement rating. PBAB is a little different. It's on a 250 scale still for some reason. So we max that out to 250. And then stuff we max to 550. Now, stuff is a weird one. You can get there multiple ways. Adding pitches, boosting velocity. In this case, we did it by I tried to find the way that disrupted the other attributes the least. So some things you do to boost stuff will also improve raw movement, and I didn't want to do that. So boosted velocity to 100 plus, boosted the fastball to 550, and boosted the curveball to 450, and that got us to 550. So interestingly, so the strikeouts per nine and stuff is kind of known and not a surprise. What did surprise me was that stuff also led to the best ERA and the best WHIP. Also surprising, maybe tied for first. I was surprised that movement had the worst WHIP. I was not expecting that. Partly because everything else in all these pictures is average and identical, right? So if all that's happening is you're giving up more home runs, I thought strikeouts per nine would be similar, which it is. And then I thought WHIP would be similar, and it's not. But then ERA would be higher because you're giving up more home runs. I didn't know it would lead to more WHIP. That was a little surprising. Um, yeah, Tagmano does know someone who favors stuff. That is true. Very wise. A very wise person. So that was also a surprise. Again, every time we do this, right, I learn something new. This time I learned two something news. Again, this is also surprising because you would think people would just be stocking up on high stuff pitchers and perfect team. But I do think some good points were brought up last night, including we're not looking at these in pairs, right? We're looking at them in isolation. The other thing I thought about after the fact, as I was uh actually as I was watching my daughter's softball practice today, if you think about this as a perfect team card, right? Even the 550 uh stuff pitcher on a perfect team card, that would be like stuff of like 180, but then their HRA, PBAP, and control are still like 75 or 80. It's like you still wouldn't take that pitcher, I don't think. Um, Even if you had like an HRA of 180, but their stuff, control, and PBAP were 80, I don't know that you take that guy. You certainly wouldn't start him in league. Well, that's true too, Smythe Base Jay. That's a great point. The difference between average hitters and hitters with crazy PT ratings. Um, so one thing I've been thinking about, so that brings up another thing, separate thing that I've been thinking about that Smythe Face Jay reminded me of is maybe we need an equivalent of the average league, but it's like the average PT league, where it's like the ratings represent kind of where we are in the cycle, but every team is identical, right? So we're representing players that are like the cards in perfect team at this stage, but no team has an advantage over another. Like they're all still identical teams. But I think for just basic experimentation, I think what we're doing still makes sense. Um, but if we're going to then translate the perfect team, I think that's an extra step we might need to take, especially now that um, we're like 6 months into the cycle now, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, I think that's a whole nother thing. The results should not change. I do think, Tom, the relative results could change though, because the relative importance of having 550 movement, for example, might make more difference in a league that has more power hitters than a league where uh every batter is average. Because relative to themselves, I would agree, but relative to other traits, Tom, I think it might make a difference. I think it's the same reason why you can get away with hitters early this cycle. You could have these guys who had high BABIP and low avoid K and get away with them is because we didn't have any pitchers with high stuff. And I think that's been changing as more high stuff pitchers have come into the game. You can't get away with these guys um like Sano in silver. His PBAP is like 125 or 130 or something. But his contact I think is in the 60s because his avoid K is terrible. When there were no high stuff pitchers, like the BABIP carries the day, and so he was great. Now that there's more high stuff pitchers, even in silver, I feel like he's starting to fall behind pretty hard. But anyway, these are the results from last night. This is what happens when you have one trait that's 550 or 250 for PBAB. Tonight we're going to try to predict what happens when you flip it and have one trait that's just really bad. And there's nothing that says it's going to be the reverse. I think there's enough dynamics in place that I mean you can though if that's the strategy you want to take in your pack giveaway. Yes, I think that's a perfectly valid strategy. I just don't know that it'll play out that way. But if it does, then we'll have learned something. We'll have learned that for single pitch attributes that it is symmetrical, right? If one thing's high, the thing that's really important to be high, in this case it was I think stuff mostly. If that's bad, then you're going to be terrible. If you believe that, then it's a pretty easy form to fill out tonight, I think. And then it becomes a whip and strikeout per nine guessing game. And then that's where Clay Dog and Smiley Face Jane I think are going to shine. Guessing those numbers. Uh, Although who was it last night? I think D was it D Lock who was like on the money on some of those guesses. All right, so let's just hop into the base game here. Yes, my face is Clay Dog's guesses on the numerical answers have been scary accurate. That is true. Oh wait. Oh, so what I want to do is I think I want to start with I still want to start with the it's Clay Dog Superpower. Hey, Clay Dog was lurking there. I didn't even realize that. But this is for those of you who rated in, this is open to everybody, so feel free to participate. And then I think one of the things we can do beyond this is then start so the whole thing about like, when I was thinking about like if it's one thing that's 550, everything else is average, that's still not a compelling uh card to pick in a draft. It might not even be a compelling player to draft in base game, right? If they're just completely average and have like, yeah, they have God control, but who cares? Like, there's that difference between control and command. I think it's when you start stacking them together. So just like we did with what attribute for batters pairs best with power, maybe we start having things like what two attributes pair together the best. But before we do that, I wanted to test tonight for, what hurts most if you don't have it. I mean, that's the best way to phrase it, is what hurts most if you don't have it. So I do think we still want to start with this pitching attributes quick start. And what we'll do is just, it'll help us make sure we're reversing everything. It says bad pitch attributes V01. Oh, still a little sore from the kidney stones, so you might hear me whining a little bit tonight. Oh, this is still Smiley Face Jane from the creator roster. Who, by the way, we have two new contestants, Max LP80 and Clay Dog, submitted their point redemptions last night, so we're looking forward to doing that soon. Yeah, Smiley Face Jane, it's like a virus. It's like infected the default now when it pops up. Max, I did not send it yet. I had a relapse of the kidney stones today, so I did not have a chance to update the form. In fact, it was even up in. So I do apologize. I will send it out this weekend. It was even in doubt whether I would be able to stream tonight, but the good news is they appear to be smaller stones now. So, Clay, Clay Dog tuned into Doc Stream briefly, only to see Smiley Face Jane win a giveaway. That's how it goes. I don't know anything that Smiley Face Jane hasn't won lately. Okay, we did see that the last time that one thing we do have to fix in here is this. And then the other thing, you know what? Let's just save this as a new quick start too. After you make these changes, we learned quite a bit about the importance of changing the city and abbreviations because in certain tables you don't see the nickname. And this is the AL stuff. You know what? In case there's something here too, we'll just call this the and then control. Okay. And then stuff. So since we're doing this anyway, let's go ahead and save it when we're done. Every time I see now movement Mets, I think about what the New York Post would probably do with that on page 6 or the back page of the Post. Lots of bowel movement Mets headlines, I'm sure. And control. Okay. And we're going to test this one more time, but I do think D Block is right that that these manager and mailbox preferences do not, for some reason, do not get saved. All right, so first we'll save this as a game, then we'll save it as a clean start. So this will be pitch attributes 3. Something just happened. Oh, ADEV wants to rename a quick save player. All right, hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Let me finish typing this. And okay. Oh wait. We want to capture this in the quick save. Okay. ADEV, what do you want to rename? I'll save the quick save after we do the ADEV change. So if I save the quick save, I think I'll have to resave it. There's no save there's no save. Every time you save it's a save as and you have to rename it. One of the pictures? Okay. Um all right, how about this? Starter 1 tends to get relegated to the bullpen. So let's do average starter 6 or average infielder 4. We can do that. We can do that. Um do you want to name it after yourself or what do you want to name it? And is there a team you like? Oh, are we in ads? Oh yeah, we're in ads. All right, I think we're back. So yeah, AW, if you want to let me know on which team, which player, the new name you want to give it. And you know what? Since you're the first to redeem, go ahead and pick two. Give me two teams, two players, and two names, and we'll do that. By the way, I became a lot less paranoid about coming up with point redemption ideas when I found out that they literally have no value. Because for a while I was worried that like, oh, people are gonna like, are they gonna think I'm like being greedy or and someone's like, yeah, no, no, they have no value. I'm like, oh, perfect then. Duck bread. Okay, I don't know what that means, but that's awesome. Stuff average starter 6. Now for stuff you can pick uh angels or braves. And then you can pick one more since you're the first to redeem. I'll let you do two. Oh, Tongmado, I didn't realize that. We almost just called that the butt piece. Braves, you got it. And then go ahead and pick one more while I do this. Duck bread. We're gonna give AW credit here. There it is, duck bread. Oh, so it's not just a guess. It's a guess based on an idiosyncratic thing that you specifically Tongmado do. I'm offering you another one for free, AW, if you want to do it. Going average infielder for Little Debbie. Oh, I'm sorry, Tongmado. I didn't mean to make it sound dumb. Oh, you know what? For nickname, let's preserve the name here, just in case we ever have to go back. I don't think there'll ever be a case we have to do that, but just in case. So one of my buddies from undergrad had this theory. I thought of two different words, hence duck bread. I like that AW's two random words actually triggered a meaning in Tongmado's brain. That's awesome. So this used to be average starter 6. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you, AW. We'll think of you now every time one of these pitchers or players appears in the stat line. Did I did I spell Debbie wrong? Let me go back and check. Oh yeah, you're right. I did. It spelled it like Dubby. like AW. And I think we need a little apostrophe here at the end of Lil. All right, let's save that. Duck bread. All right, now we'll save this as a quick start. Updated modifiers. Team, city, cities and abbreviations. Um, manager and mailbox settings. To player name redemptions. All right. So now we got to go in and make these edits. Oh yeah, I made a special version of this. Slaydog says, I can't wait to rename average outfielder 1 to average infielder 3. Always trying to be an agent of chaos, that Clay Dog. So I made this version of this view, so you can't see the the um the results of the changes. Only I can see them. All right, so we're taking control down. These will be pretty easy. We're taking just control down to 50. Yeah, sorry, projected stats. Thank you. Oops. Thank you, Tonkmato. Because the projected stats take some of the fun away if you see those. And as usual, I'm going to change the potential number, even though it should be immaterial to our sim because it's a single season sim with no development. Again, and I think AW is actually the one who brought it up, but I do think it's interesting that of all the pitching attributes, PBAB has no lefty righty split, has no current versus potential. It's just, it is what it is. The only other thing that's like that, I guess, is velocity. So it does make you wonder what's going on behind the scenes with PBAB if the way you enter it is also so different. Like, what the heck is happening with how it's used? Oh yeah, Togmato's been creating tons of players for the an international league where every country has teams based on the players that have played in international competition. Oh, Togmato has been noticing patterns in how it projects stats. Very cool. Man, created over 500 players. That's amazing. If you jump on our Discord, by the way, you can see he's also been making uniforms, and the team renderings are great. They look awesome. He's got these beautiful images of like all the faces of the entire roster with the uniforms on. It looks so cool. Actually, let me grab a link for that Discord in case anyone wants to check it out. I mean, yeah, you can also see what we're up to in terms of like all of our experiments and games and stuff. But the reason I'm posting it right now is so y'all can appreciate all the stuff Tonk Mato's doing with this international league that I think is awesome. All right, I think this will invite you to the Discord. So I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat there. Ooh, I think while I've been sleeping on the couch with this kidney stone, I've also caught a cold because it's a little bit chillier out there. Oh my goodness, smiley face Jane now. Redeeming naming a quick save player. All right, smiley face Jane. Let me get to the end of this team here, and then we'll go ahead and get your. Oh, you know what? You may want to wait though, smiley face Jane, because I'm past the point where I'll be updating the uh original. So this would only save on the quick save for this experiment. So just remind me that you redeemed, and the next time we're in like one of the master quick saves, I think that's when you should do it, smiley face Jane, so that it's not like in a tiny corner. No, 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 it's fine. It's just I think let's do it at a time where like your names will live on. And here's a rule though. No one can undo a previous person's name change. Just in case Smiley Face Jane was thinking about restoring the name Average Infielder 4. I'm introducing that rule now. Yes, Mctarian, kidney stones do suck. They are awful. You weren't, but it's a good idea. So, Smiley Face, the next time we're in the Master, which will probably be the next time we start an experiment, if you'll remind me, um, that's right, Max. You cannot rename his player Otto Hess. That's right. Smiley Face saying that is amazing. You can only name a player Otto Hess if they're on team minimum control. That's outstanding. By the way, I'm not only blocking you all from seeing the projected ratings, I'm also not looking because I don't want to spoil the surprise for myself. Oh my goodness, sad face Jane. And Ray Caldwell, yes to both, says Tom Tomato. All right, these episodes are actually going a little faster than I thought. That's good. The stuff one is going to be a little challenging because we also have to figure out how to do it. And if any of you, especially the raiders, have not used editor before in the base game, highly recommend it. Even if it's just to understand what's behind the profiles of the players you're using or that you like, it really helps you understand how the game works. Even more so if you play around with them, like Tonkmato's been doing. I mean, in the forums, there's a lot of help in terms of like you can ask, like, why does what does this change or how does this make things different? I would just caution you on the responses you get. Um, that you'll get responses from basically like three types of people, I think. The first are people from OOTP, often developers. And answers you get from them, I think you can accept as the truth because they understand, they program this, so they understand how it works. The next group is people who play the game, but they either have done lots of analytics or modeling or both. And their responses are based on pretty sophisticated analytics and or data sets. And so their responses are not just speculative, they're backed with some sort of data. I was categorize that as like the second best you can get from a developer telling you how things work. Then the third group are people who I think they're well intentioned, but they're basically telling you what based on their individual experience or their speculation. And for those responses, I tend to not give them a lot of weight because first of all, you know how much RNG, right? The random number generator just has a huge influence on individual experiences. Even for multiple seasons, it can kind of skew your perspective on how things work. Um, and so I tend to not put too much weight into those responses. Okay, for PBAB, what did I put in the form? Did I say I was going to do 22? Yeah, 22. Now I have that Taylor Swift song stuck in my head. Right? Tonkmato's Type 3. Hey, Dub, I think you're more like 2.2, 2.1. I think the amount of stuff you've seen in analytics you've done for PBE, I'm leaning you towards that 2 group. I'm also like a 2.5 because I do experiments. They're controlled experiments, but they're pretty small sample size, right? So, um, but there are people who have done, it seems like at least they've done the kind of like Monte Carlo analysis I do if I were really hardcore about this and wasn't more focused on having fun. Um, for me, this is like a good mix of applying the scientific method and getting to the truth in some ways, but still having fun with a simulation. So I'm very happily in the 2.5 group. Yeah, getting close enough. Perfect is the enemy of good. Is close enough for government work still a saying? That used to be a saying when I was in engineering school. All right, now how are we going to get the stuff? Let's take the velocity down first. This is where we usually start it. It's 91 to 93. How low can we go? Oh, that took us down pretty far. All right, let's take these extra pitches off. I forgot that we gave them the sinker the first time around. Let's take the fastball back down to 400. All right, we're still pretty high. Now, we do know that there's a penalty if we take too many pitches away, so I don't necessarily want to do that. Yeah, close enough to get close to the answer, but still have fun. I agree with that. When Tom Mano spent many years working for the federal government, the official saying is good enough for government work. All right, let's start taking some of these. What happens if we take individual pitches down? Oh, that's helping quite a bit. All right, maybe take the fastball down too. Ooh, that helped a lot. It's hard getting a pitcher bad enough to have low stuff. Yeah, Adub, I think you're right. I'm just worried about, hitting some of those thresholds we've discovered previously. Oh, we're getting real close here. Okay, we're at 51. I'm calling that close enough for government work. All right, so here's the formula. Lowest velo possible, and then 175, 75, 75. So Smiley Face Jay, and I'll give you the option. I can either refund you the channel points now, or we can just leave it as is, and you can remind me the next time we're in one of the master quick starts that you want to rename players. Man, 75 to 80 in the majors. I mean, there's a kid when I was in junior high through 75, and it was like, I mean, at the time it seemed amazing, but a refund now, or else you forget. Okay, um, well, let me do that after the stream. I need to figure out how to do it. AW, I did your name changes. Oh, speaking of duck bread, I don't think I finished my anecdote. I had a buddy who I went to undergrad with, and his theory was we called it the butt piece. That two people who like the butt piece could not get married, and two people who don't like the butt piece can't get married. His rationale was unless their preference for the butt piece is compatible, that there will always be some like underlying resentment. So the reliever is going to be a little under 50. It'll be 49 stuff. I think that's fine though. Oh, what is the olive theory, A-Dub? I don't know that one. Then you just save all the heals and save them to take the kids and feed the ducks. Talk Veda with the ducks. Options three. Yeah. Uh, AW, I want to know what the olive theory is. I don't know what that is. Well, from How I Met Your Mother, couples have a person that likes olives and hates them. Yes. No, no, right. No, no, I get you. In the confounded story, that's option three. That's the couples therapy version. All right, that team's done. Now that we know how to do them, they're zipping along here. All right, last team, and then we'll be ready to start the sim. Are we gonna start with duck bread? Awesome. I had already forgotten about duck bread, and duck bread comes up. That's great. That's gonna happen every time we crack open this base sim. Yeah, duck bread. We're back on duck bread. It'll be amazing if duck bread wins the Cy Young. Tomato loves the AW in the name, so I can remember who to blame for the names. All right, we're almost done, folks. Thanks for bearing with me. It's just more time for you to think about and fine tune your responses for the 10-pack giveaway. All right, now we're into the relievers. You know what? I can already tell what's going to happen. Someday, I'm going to forget where it came from, and there's going to be a butt piece of bread, and I'm going to say, "Hey, does anyone want this duck bread?" And people can be like, "What?" Because I'm going to forget that it's just something that was that Tomato just made up, and in my brain, it's just going to be like a thing. That's what it's called. All right, I think we're done. All right, let's save this. Now, the reason we quick save this is in case we either have a problem with the sim or we want to rerun it because like the results are ambiguous or something. But this is a quick save of a quick save, which is why I recommended that Smiley Face Jane not do the renaming here because this is very specifically bad pitch attributes QSO1. Right, so we're very rarely going to come back into this one. All right. I do think we're ready to start. So we're gonna do our usual thing. I especially need this more this week while I'm getting over these kidney stones. I need to get more water and rehydrate a bit, take a bio break, and but this is also your 3 minute warning for your pack giveaway forms. Um, all right, see you back here in a few. Hold on, I'm still here. I'm looking at my tablet. Did the ad break not start? Did we just come out of one? Let me see. No, I'm still here because it looks like the ad break never rolled. Did it roll? I don't think it rolled, did it? Oh, you did? Okay. All right. All right. I'm back, but are we done with ads? I never saw them pop up on my I've got a tablet here with one of my alt accounts which is not subbed, and so it should show ads. It wasn't showing ads. But yeah. Yeah, a lot most of you in the chat would not know. All right, I'm going to assume we're good to go because my tablet is not subbed and it never got the ads. I think it happens, and maybe Max would know. It seems to happen like if ads just rolled, it won't let me do the it won't let me then push ads, which is good. I just lose track of whether they rolled or not. I don't even know when people say like, "Oh, I'm gonna snooze ads." I'm like, I don't even see that option here because I don't know how to Twitch very well. All right, so let's look at the responses, giving everyone. Let me know if you're about to submit your 10-pack giveaway form. Otherwise, I'm going to close it here and we'll look at the responses. Ooh, Talkbado has a AI gonna AI story. Let me let me pop these in there before I. One of the dumbest AI things happen to Talkmado. If you give AI control of a team and it does not have a shortstop, it will make the worst choice possible. That's awesome. I am curious to see, like in the base game, right? It'll let you put anyone there. Um, they'll just be terrible. They'll be a one. In perfect team, that's not an option, right? So if you have anyone who can play the spot, they'll play until they're dead. Um, for Masters of Showstop, when I Googled Masters, it just showed me stairs. With the AI saw him, it said, "Yep, yeah, it'll do that." AW had a draft and had no second baseman. Oh wow, I've had drafts where I've had no backups. I can't remember the last time I forgot to draft a position. Um, I was surprised. I know Stairs played somewhere where I was surprised he had played. Um, because Matt Stairs was part of that sim I did where it was like, um, what was it? It was Jackson, Dotel, Stairs, and Zeal. I think it was two pitchers and two hitters that have played for some of the most teams ever. And I remember thinking like, wow, Matt Stairs played some positions I did not expect. But I don't think he played shortstop. Hey, Dubby, nice job winning the daily 25 years of OTP. Fantastic. Nice work. All right, y'all, I'm going to close the forum. I feel like I've given fair warning here. All right, then I will generate this sheet. And as is our habit, let's take a look at the responses before we start the sim. We'll look at them anonymously at first. Good luck, everybody. All right, here's what we got here. Which team will have the lowest strikeouts per nine? Almost everyone going with team stuff, one person with team movement. Second question, again, this is survivor style. Which team will have the highest whip? This is great. There's answers everywhere. But team control with three guesses leading the pack. And then which team will have the highest ERA? Again, answers everywhere here. Two for movement, two for control. This is great. This will be a fun pack giveaway session here. And then the Cy Young winners, if they're from the same team, which one will they be from? So this is now the reverse. This is now which team will be the best. And again, the answers are all over. Stuff and Babbitt leading the pack here. And he does have to say something after admitting he didn't draft a second baseman in another. Highest whip is, yes, correct. The highest whip means the worst whip. Correct. All right. This is very interesting. I this is my favorite kind of like answer sheet when everyone's all over the place. This is great. I'm really excited to see how this plays out. For the record, I would have gone Stuff for the lowest strikeouts per nine. Uh, Highest whip or worst whip. And Ada, maybe that's the way I should write it next time is worst whip and best whip instead of highest to lowest. Um, but worst whip, I think I would have gone control just because every walk goes straight to whip. Um, ERA is a tough one. I probably would have gone movement just because those home runs can really hammer your ERA. And then for Cy Young, oh man, I guess with the current game engine, I would go with Babbitt. So control movement Babbitt would have been my answer. So I'm the same as this first person here. Control movement Babbitt. That's what I would have done. I don't know who that is, but that's what I would have guessed. So you can throw me in with that person. And I've probably also doomed that person to not win because I'm probably not very good at this. I'm in league with Smiley Face Jane. All of a sudden, I feel like I am smart. Awesome. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, that's right. All this time, you thought Smiley Face Jane was so good at these games. Really, it's just me pretending to have yet another alt. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. We start with a two game sampler here. Well, movement 2-0 in both leagues. Is that a sign of things to come? That is interesting. Nope, things have changed quite a bit in the NL, but in the AL, movement is still on top. All right, let's see what's going on here. Movement 1911 tops in the AL. In the NL, well, control's bad in the AL, but look in the NL, control's in second place, 1.5 games out of first. And this is why we no longer go by team standings because there's just too much noise. I think that we've done a really good job of cutting the noise away by looking at pitching stats. Let's go into the second month here. All right, movement continues to lead in the AL, 8 games ahead of PBAB. 8 games is what separates the entire NL, though. With look at this movement on the bottom of the NL, movement at the top of the AL. All right, let's go to the end of June. Can someone let Otani know that he's in MLB and not in a league above everyone else? I thought you say he's not in a league where there's another league to get promoted into. He's already in perfect league in MLB. There's no other league above to get promoted to. All right. Entering into July, we've got movement still leading the AL. We've got finally got a little more spread now in the NL, but still we have movement at the top of one and movement at the bottom of the other. That's really wacky. Okay, you know what the thing with only hitting 309 though, before his 6 for 6 game, I think he was hitting like 278 or 279. Um, because I remember like he increased his average significantly, of course, after that. But like this late in the season to move your batting average takes quite a feat, and 6 for 6 does it. The fact that he's now hitting over 300 is insane. 24 is for his last 34 at bats. Yeah, that's how you go from 280 to 309 at the end of the season. That's amazing, Max. A Dub says Doug Fred trying to will the Braves. Yeah, yeah, he's there 7 games out. All right, let's go to the All Star break. Let's see. All right, still. Oh, movement has moved out of the cellar by 1 game in the NL. Still leads by 4 games in the AL. Control. Now the cellar dwellers in both leagues. Let's finish today. And Control now tied for the last place in the NL. Let's see how the All Star voting went. This is the AL. The top vote getters, 3 of the top vote getters are movement pitchers. The other 2 are PBAB pitchers. 9 and 4, 399. 10 and 3, 466. 11 and 6, 399. 7 and 4, 572. Wow. And 9 and 6 with a 6.29 is the 5th leading vote getter. We all know the true popular player. Well, here's the NL. Let's see if Little Debbie. Look at this, Little Debbie, second vote getter at first base. Little Debbie might get named to the All Star team. And in the pitching staffs, you get a little bit of a more of a mixture. You've got a Control and a stuff pitcher in here. 4 and 6 with a 7.61. Again, AI gonna AI. 8 and 6 with a 5.35. Maybe there's just no one good to pick from. 6 and 5 with a 6.61. 4 and 6 with a 6.83. And 5 and 8 with a 7.66. Now it is fair, like they're all bad pitchers now, right? Or they're all pitchers with significant weaknesses. All right, let's see who got chosen. Yeah, no, the AL is showing there are good pitchers that can be found, good performances that can be found. I mean, there's still some bloated ERAs in here, but 6.01, 5.91, 5.62. Lots of PBAB though here. Oh, there's little Debbie. 306 in the league of average players is pretty darn good. ERA place is going to look fine. You know what? We need to look at the batting stats here because these batting average are significantly higher than we normally see. Yeah, 315. This number is usually like 250 something, 260 something. So just by virtue of having one bad attribute in every pitcher in the league, batting average has jumped about 50 points, which is crazy. Uh, and for the All Star break, this is a pretty high home run total too. Like last night's Sims. Now, granted, last night's Sims, every pitcher had a god level attribute, but the home run derby participants, for example, had like 14 home runs at the break. Lil Debbie leading in OPS plus. Where do we see OPS plus? Oh, Lil Debbie is third in OPS for sure. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's on base percentage. Yeah, leading in OPS. Wow. Man, AW has a magic touch for finding the random player who's going to do good. I mean, I guess the ERAs are not terrible. I'm a little surprised. Um, but yeah, let's go to the home run challenge. See, like last night, these totals were, I think the highest is a 14, right? Because it is apples to apples. It's All Star break versus All Star break. The highest now is 25. It's not quite 2x, but almost. A little surprised Little Debbie's not on here. Man, rigged. The fix is in. Little Debbie not even allowed to compete. Duck Bread was second in innings. All right, 13-9 takes average infielder one into the second. We have two average infielder sevens going here. And we've got average infielder seven versus average infielder two. Now, based on the last round, I'd say average infielder seven should be favored. But average infielder two takes it 9-8 in the last round. Little Debbie national popularity dislike. Let's actually see if Little Debbie. Nope, still unknown. Nice. This team's got some. These are, I guess, well, they're bench players, but they're getting significant ABs. Morning D block. We're testing out what happens when each pitcher has one terrible attribute, the opposite of last night. All right, we did the home run challenge. Let's finish today and run the All Star game. A-Dub kicking myself for not choosing control. All right, let's see if Lil Debbie. Oh, Lil Debbie pinch hit, went 1 for 2 with a strikeout. That's a closer that got rocked. Here's a reliever that got rocked. A reliever from the movement team got rocked. A closer from the stuff team got rocked. And a reliever from PBAB got rocked. So equal opportunity rocking going on here. Play of the game, average infielder 3 from the control team. All right. Let's go back to the standings. And average reliever 2 doing the Lord's work, says Max. All right, let's do the rest of July. Let's play out August. We'll go to the roster expansion on September 1st. All right, let's see. With less than a month to go, the movement team has clinched a playoff spot in the AL. And Control has climbed out of the basement. In the NL, Control firmly in the basement, and PBAB 15 games ahead. All right, this is exactly why we moved away from using team standings. So we'll see what happens, though. Till the end of the regular season. So movement and PBAB have clinched places in the AL. And movement and PBAB in the NL. Although, to be fair, the gap between movement PBAP and the rest of the division or league was much greater in the AL than was in the NL. The NL is basically PBAP ran away with it. So, what does that say? I don't know. We'll know more when we combine the stats, I think. All right, let's go to the postseason. Oh no, duck bread collapse. Duckbread, second on the team in wins. Check this out. If you have relievers leading your team in ERA, they're throwing a ton of innings. Will Debbie hit 308 with 23 bombs. It's pretty good. 7.81 ERA, probably league average. Actually, can we see? Is ERA plus on here? It is 84. So the 7.81 is a little worse than league average. So that, but league average probably around 7 then, if that's the case. Just not great. Just under 7, probably like 6.9-ish. Um, Holy cow, we had a pitching triple crown. What the heck? Oh, all right, we'll get there. Oh, there's a forced game 163. Let's see the standings. No, I think we're. Oh yeah, yeah. Look at that. We needed a tiebreaker between movement and stuff. All right, so let's go to playoff coverage, playoff tree. All right, it's movement and PBAB all the way. Again, small sample size within a small sample size. Movement, Mets, and PBAB Mariners. Oh, my two teams, my NL team and my AL team in the World Series. And the Mets take it 4 games to 1. All right, so let me screenshot that. Let me screenshot this. And let me screenshot the standings. Let's real quick see who won that triple pitching triple crown. Starter 5 on the PBAB team. Uh, this is interesting. Okay, for strikeouts, it's PBAB led, but if you look at strikeouts per 9, there's a lot of movement players on here. That's interesting. Okay. So someone on the PBAB team won the triple crown. That might I wonder if that is an omen for what's to happen here. All right, let's see. Let's look at stats, right? Well, I guess we could have just stayed there. And all right, so offensively, this is significantly higher than what we normally see, right? Based on the usual settings, it's what you would expect 250, 260 ish. But with the bad pitching attribute, now remember, this is just one bad attribute per pitcher, and the batting averages are up about 60 points, and the home runs are up probably almost 50%. That's that's I'm actually surprised the offenses have gone up that much with just one bad attribute for a pitcher. I mean, I knew they'd be up. I didn't know they'd be up this much. And then the pitching side, we do have a pitching triple crown winner, which is impressive. Now, another place where we look for is there a pattern in the number of losses? And there's a lot of stuff pitchers here on the top losses team. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Little Debbie Yeah, let's go back there. Let's celebrate Little Debbie real quickly. Second in OPS, third in slugging. Third in slugging, despite not being in the top eight in home runs. So let's scroll down. Was it a bunch of extra base hits? Little Debbie, eighth in doubles. Uh, no, I guess it's just a combination of not even top eight in total bases. Did Little Debbie get limited plate appearances? What's happening here? No, 503 plate appearances. Didn't start a full slate of games, but this is also interesting. When we did other Sims where you have, like for example, in the creator roster of Sims, especially in Smiley Face Jane's, where the bulk of the investment was in offense, you had a bunch of players with 150, 160 games. When everyone's average, you start seeing this, right? 100 games, 105 games, because the parts are basically interchangeable. So Little Debbie gets a little cheated there on the appearances. Yeah, keeping the star out, exactly. So yeah, that's why they're as far as the rates go, Little Debbie's doing really well, but on the individual total based leaderboards, not showing up. Now this is the best strikeout per nine, not the worst strikeout per nine. So that remains to be seen. But see a lot of movement pictures in there. This is interesting. The home runs allowed. I thought this would be all duck bread. 53 home runs allowed, second most. But surprisingly, the pitchers with the worst stuff gave up. I mean, they're right in the mix with the pitchers with the worst movement. Now that is, I was completely not expecting that. Okay, let's go to the stats. I got to see these stats. All right, I'm going to leave this up while I populate the spreadsheet for the pivot table. That's right, I said pivot table. I'm going to add home runs to this one though. I want to see. I'm kind of curious to see what's going on with home runs because I the thing with stuff being as bad as the low movement teams is shocking to me. So y'all take that in. I'm going to be entering in some stats real quick here. One. Okay. Earned runs. Wow, pretty big differences in earned runs too. Home runs allowed. This is surprising to me. That's really surprising to me. Because all I had ever heard about stuff is that it impacts the number of strikeouts you get. Nowhere did I hear stuff impacts your home runs allowed. Now, don't get me wrong, from a real baseball perspective, I think it makes sense. But from a what we've been told about how the game is coded, it's very surprising to me. Yeah, also affects balls in play, but um, a home run is not a ball in play, right? Home runs don't go into BABIP. Home runs are a home run is considered not in play. I thought it didn't count as a ball in playbacks. I thought strikeouts and home runs did not count as balls in play. Because you can't make a play on them. Okay, walks. Yeah, basically the three true outcomes are all the stuff that's not in play, which is kind of the whole idea, right? They're true outcomes because they're not dependent upon fielding. Wow, it's crazy how bad control is. Holy cow, it's also amazing how few strikeouts low stuff generates. Hmm. Okay, I think that's done. All right, so let me put this up. I need to shrink it down a little bit, I think. There we go. All right. Yeah, but it's not batted balls, right? It's balls in play. It's batting average on balls in play, and a home run's not in play. Yeah, Ada, it does seem like that, doesn't it? That it's skipping the strikeout step, and yeah, which is not how it was ever even suggested. I've never even heard it suggested that way, so that's interesting. All right, put the team here. And we'll put all these in values. Actually, can I just do? Yeah. I told you, AW, I'm an Excel person. I don't know how to do this in Google. You said values. I don't know. You'll have to give me a tutorial sometime offline. All right. So, oh, wait, let me shrink this so you can see it a little better. Well, you won't be able to see it better, but at least you'll get to see all of it. Okay, what are the things we need? We need whip. We need, oh, well, the first one we need is strikeouts per nine. And then we need whip. We need ERA. And I'm actually kind of curious about home runs per nine. It's not in the thing, but oh, I can't. I want to just accept the autofill, but I can't see the little check mark. I was like, oh, I must have done a calculation wrong, but then I realized it's the low stuff team. And that's actually correct. That's crazy. Look at that. Look what a difference that is. That's crazy. Whip equals the sum of hits and walks divided by innings pitched. See, I can't see that. Oh, there it is. Okay. ERA equals earned runs divided by innings pitched times 9. Oh my goodness, look at those ERAs. Oops. Wow, PBAB ERA. Again, this is a home run difference, right? Movement had the best whip, which again surprises me. It was surprising when high movement had the worst whip. It's surprising me when bad movement has the best whip because it should just be home runs. But for some reason, it's impacting whip. But right, uh, the you lose your first place status from when you go from whip to ERA because those things you're giving up are home runs. But surprisingly, not worse ERA than low stuff or control. Nearly perfect league ERA was near 7. Yeah, I think there's just a calibration issue, right? Like the top pitchers are not as good as the top hitters. Wow, you get some Jose Lima uh HRA, HR9 here. All right, so let's zoom on this stuff. All right. Yep, I think that is it. All right, let me go back to, let me pull up the pack giveaway. All right, so I had the same answers as Smiley Face Chain. Let's see what happens. Okay, which team will have the lowest strikeouts per nine? And it was definitely the team with the worst stuff. Is there anything interesting in the rest of that data? Is this 0.5 just noise? So 0.5 difference between control and movement in PBAB? It's less than 10%. Feels a little bit like noise. All right, second question is which team will have the highest whip? Control by far. Uh, Two of our survivors had control. So Smite, Face Jane, and Clay Dog. Now it's just a matter of who gets the 7 and who gets the 3. When we do you want to compare the numerical answers? We'll put everyone back on the board for that. Oh, you know what? I took so many days off. I think I could probably get away with Nicolino with giving away some extra packs. So for the two questions with numbers, I'm going to give 5 packs each to whoever came closest to those answers. Or maybe five's too many because second place gets 3. So I'll give 3 packs each to the people who came closest. If anyone gets it exact, I'll give you 5 packs. But whoever came closest to numbers, I'll give 3. All right. So which team had the highest ERA? Um, by far the control team. And so I would have guessed movement. So Clay Dog takes first. Smiley Face Jane takes second. Oh, we didn't do the postseason awards. Let's go see real quick if anyone wins the Cy Young Award. And then we'll still give away some bonus packs for the totals. So hang with us for a little bit, but let's go straight to Cy Young. Uh, Starter 4 from the PBAB Mariners, and starter 5 from the PBAB Mariners. So PBAB produces both Cy Young awards. Does that tie with what we're seeing here? Let's see. PBAB. Second best whip, best ERA. Kind of makes sense, I guess. but I don't think anyone guessed PBAB. Well, oh no, you guys both did. Nice job. All right, now let's open this back up to everybody. So before I lose track, let's just put uh Clay Dog was first. Smiley Face Jane was second. Now let's take all these filters back off. All right, so we got 6 people back in it now. I'm always trying to make people believe in PBAB. That was definitely a PT24 thing for sure. Okay, so what was the first one? Strikeout per nine of the pitcher who leads the league in strikeouts per nine. So that we have to go back to the base game. .2 strikeouts per nine. And it is not Price is Right rules. 9.2 strikeouts per nine. All right, the closest is zero point 0.4 away, 0.6 away. So AW, we're going to give you +3 packs. AW, you did something. That is true. Okay, and then the other numerical question was, what will be the whip of the pitcher who leads the leagues in whip? 1.36. We had a tie at 1.36. And the winner there looks like, well, Smiley Face Jane. +3 packs. Oh, 1.21. Poor McTarian put 1.2. Smiley Face Jane won that by .01. Wow. That's amazing. And Clay Dog was right there with 1.19 too. Wow, good job with the guessing the numbers, y'all. That's impressive. Even the strikeouts per nine, I'm actually impressed how close all the guesses were. Yeah, because there's no way to see what the worst was. Because I mean, although I could have asked, what would the lowest team strikeouts per nine be? And I don't think I would have guessed that it'd be this low. But that's like surprisingly low. So here's the summary of the pack giveaways. Sorry. Clay Dog by winning first place gets 7. Smiley Face Jane came in second and won 3 packs for coming closest to the whip guess. So Smiley Face Jane was 6 packs. And AW by guessing closest on the strikeouts per nine, I think, wins 3 packs. Yeah, AW would have guessed something like 2.5. Yeah, I'm somewhere in there, 2 or 3. maybe two. I wasn't going to go all the way down to one for sure. I would have been close on the whips, I think, and I would have been low on the ERAs. But yeah, this is a fun experiment. I think I'm learning something. I don't quite know what yet, and maybe AW can help me digest this information. But the fact that stuff is so important on the good side and not just for strikeouts per nine, and the fact that whip is important both on the good and bad sides. Sorry, that movement. The fact that movement changes whip for the good and the worse, it doesn't make sense to me. Spyface J says AW's been saying it. PBAB is fake. Well, the crazy thing is how much PBAB mattered for ERA. But that goes back to something D Block used to say, which I think makes a lot of sense, which is you can get runners on base with walks, but you need home runs or BABIP to drive them in. And so I can see why, by having good PBAB or having. Oh, no, wait, I'm saying the opposite. No, no, you're right. I'm saying what AW is saying. If bad PBAB leads to the best ERA, that means PBAB doesn't matter. Yeah. I think I'm joining the cult of PBAB. It doesn't matter. Um, I I did think control would matter for WHIP. I didn't realize it matters so much for ERA. And for the ERA, I didn't think it would matter because of the same reasons D Block used to talk about. You can get guys on base, but you need to drive them in. And it's hard to drive runners in with walks because you need the bases loaded. But the fact that the worst control led to such bad ERA was really surprising to me. Is anyone else surprised that the bad stuff led to the second worst home runs per nine? That's also surprising to me. Just like stuff led to such better whip and ERA last time, it's weird to me that bad stuff is contributing so much to the home runs. Like AW was saying in the chat earlier, I think it's making me reassess the order in which things are calculated. And again, from a baseball perspective, I can understand if you have bad stuff, you shouldn't be able to strike someone out, and you should probably give up more home runs. But from a game simulation perspective, I'm surprised. Yeah, but then if that's the case, AW, then low stuff should also lead to more hits, and I guess it is leading to more hits. Because if I do hits per nine, it's a baseball simulation. No, no, totally. I know. You're preaching my own gospel back to me. I understand. I always say it's only going to do what the programmers program it to do, right? Because we just want to know what happens in real life. We would just read stuff like the book and Bill James and stuff. But okay, like of course, I would have assumed PBABIP, bad PBABIP would have the most hits allowed, and it does, except for bad stuff. That doesn't make sense to me. That's right, exactly, Sci-Face Jane. Why is bad stuff giving up even more hits than bad PBABIP? That's the part, and bad stuff is giving up not almost, but second most home runs to bad movement. It would be like if bad stuff were giving up more walks than bad control. Like it's it's at that level of confusion for me. Like to me, it should be like control. Like if you look at the control here, we'll even do walks per nine just to illustrate this. Right, all the others are statistically the same. But if you take it to enough decimals down, then they actually round to the same. I would have expected this for most other traits, like home runs for nine. Why wouldn't it all be 1.1 and then bad movement is 2.5? I would expect home runs per nine to look just like walks per nine, where everything else is the same and you have the one bad attribute killing it. Strikeouts per nine, they all look the same except bad stuff. Also, okay, so this actually maybe leads me to something where are the walks per nine and strikeouts per nine calculations or simulations either earlier in the process, that's why they're so clean, or are they in some ways some more cleaner calculation? Just like control is basically how many walks do you give up, right? So it's the worst. Strike stuff is how many strikeouts you get, so it's the worst. If if PBAP is how many base hits you give up and balls in play, it should be the worst, but it's not. Stuff is the worst. The pitchers were no, all the pitchers got it this time and last night. All the pitchers got it for this sim. For tonight's and last night's sims, it's all the pitchers, not just the starters. Anyway, I'm not complaining. I'm just observing that it's walks and strikeouts per nine, or the walk and strikeout calculations seem to be handled differently than the hits and home runs. Although, to be fair, the stuff calculation has more baked into it too. Um, right, because there's no stuff lever. Stuff is calculated from an assortment of levers. So it could be that in the levers we pulled, we changed stuff then that would also affect home runs and hits allowed. I don't know. Smiley Face James said if there's more balls hit, there's more chances for hits. Oh, I see your point, Smiley Face James. So with lower stuff, you then have more balls going to more plate appearances going to the next calculation, which is then okay. What happens if okay? So if the first calculation is it in play or not, then that shunts off to the walk or strikeout calculation. That would explain why that's cleaner. So then if it's in play, then what happens? Then you get into the messier calculations. I can see that. So for PT purposes, low stuff pitchers better have high PBAB. Not just high PBAB, they also have to have high HRA to offset the home run penalty too. So basically, if you're a low stuff pitcher, you better be good at everything else. I'll be curious to see how like that Addy Joss card plays because it's a low stuff for at the higher levels. It's a low stuff pitcher with high everything else. See how that goes. All right. Well, this is a good fun sim, and I appreciate everyone in the chat being so active. It made it even that much more interesting. And I hope you all had fun with this one. Put the title card back up here. Max, you're streaming tonight, right, Max? Oh yeah, Max is already up, so let's go ahead and raid into Max. Thanks all for being here. Ezra Denny, thank you for the raid, as always. Um, got us off to a really big start tonight, so I really appreciate that. And let's send everyone on over to Max. Max LP80, who will be doing play-by-play, maybe some roster building, and also probably continuing his is it 1994 Mariners? Spyface Jane, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing better every day. Um, I thought I was over for for good yesterday morning, but I do have probably some little residual stones passing. But I can at least sit down long enough to do these streams. So I appreciate y'all coming back despite me being gone for a whole week. And Spyface Jane, I'll figure out how to return those points to you so you can redeem them next time for the name changes. All right, let's go have fun in Max's stream.